Brakatha Yahweh, Brakatha Yahushai, Brakatha Yahweh, Brakatha Yahushai, Brakatha Yahweh, Brakatha Yahweh, Bashim Yahushai, Bahashim, Makakodash, double honor to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, Wajubel. Salutations to hopefully elect out there. You Akim to Sadakim. They do this thing in the utmost truth and sincerity. I'm the priest Shaman. This week's topic is going to be entitled Not Every Israelite Foreigner is Super Duper Swaggy. All right. And the inspiration really comes from land backing off Apostle Tahar. He started it with the Tom Brady being a Jake, which, I mean, if you can't see that, then Brady the Most High, you can see it. Um, Apostle Gabar land backed off it with that musician from, I believe it's the 70s, right? And I wanted to do this show to let you know that every Israelite foreigner is going to be super duper swaggy to the point it's obvious. Because you got Israelite foreigners like Justin Timberlake, right? Bobby Caldwell. You got Justin Bieber. You know, you got a lot of them Israelites where it's sort of very easy to tell from just their swagoo that Jake got, that, oh, that's a Jake. But you're also going to have Israelite foreigners where it's not so easy to spot. Because we know that Tom Brady's a Jake from his exceptional talent and skills, but as far as we know, Brady don't really dance like that, or he's, what I'm saying, he's not really super flashy, but we know he's an Israelite. But guess what? Mike Tyson can't dance, but with that spiritual power that he got on a low level, he'll knock your ass into next month. What do I mean by that? He'll knock your ass and you wake up next month, Because why? Because he's a Jake. All right, not every Jake is going to be able to do the split like James Brown and moonwalk like Michael Jackson. And the same goes for the Israelite foreigners. Now, I want to use the Kelsey brothers, right? You have Travis and I believe Jason Kelsey, okay? Travis is the far more popular brother on the Kansas City Chiefs. They both won Super Bowls. His brother on the right, believe his name is Jason. All right, he played for the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, check this out. They're both Pro Bowlers in their respective position. Extremely talented dudes. But Travis Kelsey, it's far obvious that he's a Jake. He dance, he sing, he do all these type of stuff that Jakes is really known for. His brother is more in the backlight. Like he plays offensive line. We don't know. Maybe off screen it's very evident that he's a Jake, but as far as we know, he has a completely different kind of vibe about him than his brother. But they both Israelite foreigners and they both Jakes because they came out the same father, right? Except one brother is very obvious to tell. Okay. And if you look at Travis Kelsey, you watch his highlight, you watch what he does off camera, how he dresses, how he carries himself, it's clearly obvious he's an Israelite. All right. But his brother, it might be harder to tell. So that's the point of this lesson. Not every Israelite is gonna be super duper swaggy. All right. There's different levels of salt. And as the Apostle Gabar said, we got the saltiest of salts, which is this truth, right? Because every Israelite's an Israelite, but not every Israelite's an Israelite of the Most High. All right. So when you look at an Israelite foreigner, all right, just because he might not be, able to moonwalk, do all, what I'm saying, break dance and all that don't mean he's not a Jake. Okay, because not every single Israelite is that way. Certain Jakes is just they fall back, And wait a minute, you have Israelites that's, kind of like corny. I could say, you got corny Jakes. They Jake straight up, but just do some corny shit, So it might be other things. It might be other things to determine and let you know, man, this guy could be a Jake. Whether it's the way, they show their talent, all right, or the curses. The curses are a very good point, man. Elvis Presley, Eminem, they got hit with the curses heavy before they blew up, and even after, So the curses could be a telltale sign. That's how come we know. It might be nails on a chalkboard to a lot of you guys out there, but you got a lot of our people scattered among some hillbillies, man. Hillbilly rednecks. Yep, that's right. Jake is scattered everywhere. And again, it might not be the super swagoo that we known for that lets you know, but it could be things like the curses. All right. They could just have an affection for the Most High, like Dabu 7. I mean, Dabu 7, he got a little swag, but I'm just using that as a point, man. So I want to go to 1 John 4:1. It says, Beloved, believe not every spirit, but try the spirits whether they are of the Most High, because many false prophets are going out into the world. And I remember, I mentioned the number one salt that is telling if an Israelite is an Israelite no matter what, and that's his truth. All right, because you have brothers in the camp that they got the curse of leprosy. They got the curse of looking like the so-called white man, right? But they got the truth, and that should be your number one telltale sign is did they receive this word? Because a heathen cannot receive this word. The scripture says he showeth his words unto Jacob. He hath not dealt so with any nation. So for you brothers out there that demon might be plaguing your mind, whatever, because you don't look like Wesley Snipes, you know what I'm saying? Or even if we have females amongst us that think they're heathens and are kind of conflicted, don't know because of how they look. I'm talking about the females that watch. Oh man, I think I'm a white woman, I don't know, but this thing resonates. Well, look, man. Ultimately, the Most High is not gonna give His word to a heathen, man. All right. Um. So that's that. There's no really ifs, ands, and buts about it. You can't fake having this truth. If the Most High opens your eyes to these understanding, you understand these things. All right. Then guess what? You're an Israelite, and at the end of the day, the Most High is not coming to deliver flesh. The Most High is coming to deliver spirits. So that's what we're dealing with here at Great Millstone. We're dealing with the spirit. Because none of these bodies are going to make it into the chariots. So what the hell does it matter what you look like? We're dealing with the spirit of the Lord. Now we say so-called black, so-called white for edification's sake and for truth's sake and for understanding certain things. All right. But that's not the end all be all to being delivered. All right. We say so-called because so-called means commonly called. All right. Esau is commonly called a white man. Jacob is commonly called a black man, a Negro, Latino, Native American man. All right. But we're dealing with nations, not skin color. All right. It says, hereby know ye the spirit of the Most High. Every spirit that confesseth that Yahushua is come in the flesh is of the Most High. So pretty much we discern things, you might, you feeling the person out, you kind of have to be around them a lot. In other words, it's a lot easier to tell if a person is Israelite or not. The ultimate de facto can be, all right, whether they have this truth or not, Now, we don't know how Travis Kelce's brother is off camera, right? But we know one thing, he's an extremely talented football player. And that's where a lot of these Jakes are scattered too. A lot of these Israelite foreigners are scattered together in these sports and these different athletic events, man. We know that we could sing and dance, all right? But a lot of them athletic events, where you play at the level you get to, all right? Jake is just super talented because he's a prince of the power of what he does, man. So yes, you're going to have guys, Peyton Manning, the Eli Manning brothers, super kind of corny a little bit, but guess what? Israelites, man. Who else? Dirk Nowitzki. Okay. So that the end all be it sign is not going to be all the time, all right, how jazzy is per se. Okay, but it's just going to be something he does, something that Israelites do. I don't give a fuck. It's goddamn, it could be cooking. It could be, I don't know. It's just something about him that's going to be, oh, damn, that's a Jake. Now I know that's a Jake. Something about him is just gonna be different, and it might not be obvious right away from the common things that we might say to people. And I know that's why when the Apostle Elder Tahar put that Tom Brady being a Jake, a lot of us got it very easily because we're very spiritual here. But guess what? That became a stumbling block onto a lot of individuals. Man, they can't see Tom Brady being a Jake because he kissed his kid in the mouth or some shit like that. Come on, man, that's like silly, That's silly. But if the Most High holds this understanding to you, all right, well, pray He opens your eyes to it, That's all I can say. I really just want to 1 John 4:1. I'm gonna go ahead and read this right here. This parable that the Lord left for us in Matthew the 13th chapter, Matthew 13:24. Another parable put He forth unto them, saying, the kingdom of heaven is likened unto a man which sowed good seed in the field. Right. It says, but while he slept, his enemy came and sowed tares among the wheat and went his way. And it's very hard to separate wheat from tares with the naked eye. They look very similar, but one could be poisonous and one isn't. So that's the sleeping of the enemy sleeping and sowing tares was when the so-called white man planted his seed inside the Israelite woman, and brought forth children that had the appearance of Jake. Because I saw a Jake the other, I saw a possible tear. I said a possible tear. I don't know what the father's like, but the father looked like a straight up Edomite. 1 second. Yeah, the father looked like a straight up Edomite, but his kids looked like a Jake. They had the box braids and all that. They kind of had a dead look, so they could have been Tiz. All right, but even in that, you might have a Jake like Bob Marley. His pops looks white. So you can't just rule off a person because his father is white. You know, you can't really, we can't do that right now. You know, we have to really try individuals to see whether they're that of the Most High's chosen line or not. Okay, so they open their eyes to this understanding. That's okay. That's a Jake boom because the Most High is not going to give this understanding to a heathen. That's the clear end all be all. You know, because when this destruction happens and we seeing people getting beamed up, you're gonna see people getting beamed up like a that look like a so-called Jew. Gonna have people getting beamed up like Esau himself, so-called red hair, all that. But those are not heathens. Those are gonna be Israelites that have the shell of an heathen, but the spirit of a Jake, man. All right. It says, but while men slept, his enemy came and sowed tares among the wheat and went his way. And I think a perfect example of wheat and tares you can see is clearly Jason Taylor's son. All right, Jason Taylor's a straight Jake, no doubt about it. But he had a white woman and two of his kids. One came out looking like a straight up Jake. The other came out with pale blonde hair. You know what I'm saying? But they brothers. You know, came out the same man, and that's what the Most High is dealing with. Okay, the seed is belong to the Father, but you have these telltale signs around the world. Okay, because guess what? An Israelite man could have sex with a black woman and bring forth an albino. All right, all the kids, they had that Nigerian couple where all the kids came out dark skin, woolly hair, and one kid came out with white, so-called white skin and blonde hair. Now the reverse can't happen. All right. All right, their genes are not as strong as our genes, to where two so-called white couple could come forth together and bring forth Negro-like features. That don't happen. But on the flip side, Jake could do that because, as it says in the scriptures, that children rule over us, right? So the sons rule over us, meaning we came out, we're the predominant ones, all right? But Esau is ruling over us because we could make him, but he can't make us, all right? He's the son, okay? He came out of Yahweh Shah. He came out of Isaac, an Israelite. All right. But when the blade was sprung and brought forth fruit, then appeared their tares also. So the servant of the householder came and said unto him, Sir, didst not thou sow good seed in thy field? From whence then hath it tares? He said unto them, an enemy, when this was an unlawful thing to do. Sowing actual tares amongst your wheat field, that was actually a crime. All right. He said unto them, an enemy had done this. The servant said unto him, wilt thou then that we go and gather them up? But he said, nay, lest while ye gather up the tares, ye root up also the wheat with them, right? Because it's very hard to tell. That's how come, you know what this means? This means don't grab guns and go try to kill so-called white people. All right. Because you could be grabbing guns and being a militia group, thinking that you're mowing down nothing but Edomites, but you killing innocent Jakes scattered up in there. You know, so don't go ahead and try to gather up and separate them on your own. Okay? It says, let both grow together until the harvest. And when's the harvest? The harvest is the end of the world, when our Lord come back. And in the time of harvest, I will say to the reapers, which are the angels, gather ye together first the tares and bind them up in bundles to burn them. So you're going to have Edomites that look goddamn jet black. Like, you know, they're going to have Edomites looking like Michael Jordan. That's going to be getting burnt up. You're going to be like, oh shit, that was a cracker the whole time. Yep. You know, it says, but gather the wheat into my barn. And the elect of the nation of Israel. All right. Again, the Israelite foreigners, because they're Israel too, man. It's all about Israel. It's all about Israel. The reason we say Israelite foreigners, because one, we're Israelite foreigners. Because we was into that madness before we came into this truth, but we talking about the Israelite foreigners that don't have the necessary appearance, the physical appearance of what the typical Negro, Latino, Native American look like. All right, but we always have the telltale signs, all right, characteristics of an Israelite. The best example I could give you is, you know, you have orange juice, right? You know the consistency of orange juice. You know what it tastes like. Now, no matter what bottle you pour that in, once you drink it, you're gonna say, "Oh shit, that's orange juice." All right, you could pour orange juice into a grape bottle. You could pour orange juice into a soda can. You could pour orange juice into a bottle of into a water bottle. It don't matter what container you drink it from. You close your eyes, you're gonna say, nope, that's orange juice, right? So it's the same thing. That spirit of Israel has been poured into different containers, but it's gonna have the same characteristics, all right, of an Israelite. Same way, orange juice poured in any type of container, right? Even if you, even if you take off, uh, the bottle and put, if you pour it into an empty bottle and put cranberry juice on it, the moment you taste it, you're gonna say, this ain't cranberry juice. This is orange juice. All right. So the moment you get a feel of a Jake, there's gonna be no ifs ands about it. After a while, go, man, that's a Jake, man. This is all the characteristics of a Jake. You know, it says, "We enter my barn." Another parable put he forth. Okay, all right. So that was it right there. Not every single Jake is gonna be super duper swaggy. All right. You're gonna have Israelites. The telltale signs might be the curses. It might be other things. Okay, but at the end of the day, it's the salt of the salts to discern whether an individual is of the Most High or not is the understanding of this truth. With that, I'm gonna give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash, the blindness of the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, which you well, and salutations to the hopeful elect out there. You Akim to Zadakim that do this thing in the utmost truth and sincerity. Shalom.